Alright, I'm going to have a video in the links. Uh, I in no way support any channel for monetary reasons. It's just that this video has some C-SPAN colors, which is very surprising. I think people are starting to wake up over this Clinton email. I mean, you have to look at it. Just look at the way it is. You got, and I don't care if you say these, if you want to think these people like Bradley Manning and Julian Assange and who's the other guy in Russia are controlled opposition, whatever you want to think, but you got to remember, here's an example what they can do to little people like us, but the Clintons, well, they're in. They're in because, see, you don't know. But here, I'll tell you, because I've been in the workforce since the 1980s, okay? Um, in the 80s and 90s, we had low-skill factory jobs here, which paid enough for you to buy a house and a car, and you might have to work 10 hours a day. But I mean, to have a real middle-class lifestyle and not have a little bridge card and welfare food and government cheese. And believe me, I know what it's like. I grew up on government cheese. As long as you slice it thin, it's like Velveeta. It's pretty good. You have to admit, I ate a lot of grilled cheese sandwiches. But that was because my dad was a disabled American veteran, and they never give you enough. The VA never gives you enough when you're disabled. So I learned at a very early age, you need to know how to make money, and you need to be healthy enough to make money. Otherwise, you get this rotten cheese, which is actually hard to slice thin, is, and you get a big hunk of it. It's just too rich. And all the other government dry powder milk. Ugh. I hate milk to this day because of that stuff. I won't drink milk anymore. I don't drink it. I mean, and spaghetti. I hate spaghetti. We ate a lot of spaghetti as kids because it's cheap noodles and tomato paste. Like, I mean, 99-cent dinner for 5 people. So I grew up poor. And I'm always looking out. And you know why? Because eventually, see, you're going to say, well, why do you care about me? Well, because, well, if they take your lower, and it is, because I'm skilled trades, they take your lower skilled jobs away. It's just a generation or two before those people running that tooling in Mexico or China or Indonesia or any one of these third world countries, they begin to learn how to make the tooling like I do, and then they won't cut me out. I'll be done. I'm trying to gear up for retirement now, but they're going to cut my children's throats. I already have one boy working in skilled trades. Hired him into the shop I worked in 2008, trained him myself, and now, he even came back to my shop and made a money play. Yeah, and it's something I never taught him. He must have learned that from his uncle, his mother's brother, who's in the same skills. He's the same skilled trades. That you go to another shop, you ask for more money, you go back to the shop that you're at and say, well, I'm going here because they're going to pay me this. I've never done that. I've always gotten raises. I guess I'm a good worker, or I don't know. I'm a lazy worker, but very proficient. You get things done fast that don't take a long time. Anyways, I don't want to brag about myself. Sorry about that. He made a power play at the shop I work with, and then went back and got a raise. Got the raise he wanted all along. So, cheers to him. But no, you'll be cutting his throat. What we need to do is to be bringing jobs back into this country. Now, can Trump do that? No. Here's the problem. Trump is a political outsider. Trump, you got to remember, you had a political outsider in 1980 want to audit the Fed. He wanted to know where the money's going. I'm talking Ronald Reagan. I'm no fan of Ronald Reagan. But he did. He paid a lot of taxes. And he wanted, as a B movie star, but he wanted to know where the money was going. Where's all the money going? He's rubbing elbows with all these Hollywood people. They're all probably complaining about what they used to pay like 70% taxes. and they were just wondering. So he wanted to audit the Fed because he realized the IRS, when it doesn't really go to the Fed, it goes to the shareholders of the Fed. You see, that's why you people, and even I thought this myself for a long time. You go vote, vote, vote. Like I said, what's funny about the video is I forget this whatever his name is, SGT Bull guy. He gets all upset over Hillary. Why are you surprised? I told you this already. She's not going to get in trouble. She's not, she's going to be the next president. You can't stop her. Your vote don't count. This isn't England, people. See, the Bank of England was founded in 1697 and has shareholders. And those shareholders are the same shareholders who are shareholders in the Fed. You see, they are not going to do they're not going to do what they do here there because that's bad karma, but they don't care if the United States goes down the drain, because when you refuse to let the will of the people, when you refuse the will of the people, bad karmic things happens. But it won't happen to them because they're not doing it. Their bidders here in the United States are doing it, like the Bushes and the Clintons and Diebold and everyone else involved in the voting fraud that's going on here. That's why the Brexit went through, because they came out with all the scare tactics they could, but they're not going to. For lack of better words, I got to use jinx. They're not going to jinx their own country, jinx the United States, jinx China and Russia. Maybe Israel is another country they wouldn't do that, but they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that in England. They'll rig elections in Scotland. I know that was rigged. I seen the ballots that they didn't count, and it was all over. I think it was a year ago, 2 years ago. I don't know. I told you, and expect her to be your next president, because you can't stop this woman, because she's part of the Bush Clinton crime syndicate that sold your jobs, that stabbed you in the back, and then twisted the knife in 1999, agreeing to trade with all of China. See, here's what most people, you guys don't realize, is they could have packed Hong Kong up and moved it to Singapore, where people make more money per hour. But no, they chose the slave land China. Yeah, that's how bad they screwed you over. And to think, and I pay taxes too, so I'm not really putting anyone down. I'm not trying to, but this is how deluded we are. In Asia, which is the most populous continent in the world, other than Australia. Well, Australia's in a different continent. That's a continent in itself. So in Asia, China, Malaysia, Taiwan, guess what, guys? They don't pay taxes. They don't. What they make, they keep. We're under a severe tax burden. I'm like right here. I'm in Detroit, and you can see Henry Ford. You start out in Detroit, then move to, oh shoot, what is it? It's not Hamtramck. It's another Highland Park. He built a Model T plant, and because he's seen the greedy little buggers in the city council start nitpicking him, taking away his profits. So he moved out of the city into another city, Highland Park. And he stayed there until he realized the tax burden became too great. And then he moved to Dearborn. You see, it's the city council, it's the bureaucracy. It's the government bureaucracy, even small government bureaucracy. They want money for doing nothing. None of their legislation helped Ford whatsoever. But that's what they do, and that's why your jobs leave. And on top of that, you have a federal government and a state government burden on top of that. Anyways, videos and links. Guess what? The sheep are waking up. There's actually Democrats out there. They're getting pissed off. And I don't know. I mean, I, I hate Hillary Clinton, but I can't believe that she's going to be the next president. I'm telling you, I told you that already, and I told you she wasn't going to get in trouble for this email stuff. Even though you got, Snowden, Assange, uh, Bradley Manning, these guys basically did the same thing, except for they informed us. They informed all the public. They didn't send secret stuff to other places like Russia or whatever she was doing. So, anyways, if you're interested, watch the video. I have in the links below. Have a good one, as always.